Dignitas find themselves in similar territory.
Yeah, it's really interesting race at the end of the split. If Dignitas can find this win after they just upset Immortals yesterday, or Golden Guardian, excuse me, that they should be able to find this one here as well. Then they can make it a 4-way tie. That'd be an insanely close end at the last week of the regular season. So that's another reason to be pulling for Dignitas if you just want to see some chaos.
Especially when you don't know what chaos can ensue in a super week of the last.
Gets a lot of tiebreakers.
Oh yeah, we live for it, baby. But as far as the draft that we got going, bans locked in. It's an Ahri for the first lock-in for TSM here. A pick for Maple that has worked out with a response from Lulu, who has been making her statement all across the weekend alongside the Viego.
Yeah, Viego is both a fine pick in his own right, but I think also a bit of a takeaway from Spica. Has a little bit more individual carry potential, you could say, than some of the other jungle options. Like Wukong can carry, of course, we've seen contracts pop off, a lot of people did, but like the Poppy necessarily or the Trundle. So taking that away from him, as well as being able to combo with Ahri in the mid lane, I think is a good play by Dignitas to take that.
And 6 Viego games for Spica across the split thus far, so for sure targeting in that direction. On the TSM side, Sivir, a prominent pick through and through, all across, and early prioritization in multiple drafts with the bot lanes really getting that heavy emphasis.
Yeah, it feels like we were talking about in the previous game about, do you go early game or are you more about the scaling option? And Sivir feels like the premier scaling option. Just in the late game, those ricochets are absolutely insane. Zarya is no joke either though, so Dignitas grabbing that one.
And can definitely have a heavy impact, especially in the latter portions of the game when getting online, chasing down the rest of the team. For TSM side, Chime the last couple games had played the Bard, which is obviously a comfort pick for him, but he's also noted wanting there to be specific conditions when it comes out. Didn't have a good experience in that game against Evil Geniuses yesterday, so wanting to switch things up with the Nautilus. Also, when you think about the fact that engaged supports in general are something that we're looking towards in the future weeks because of 12.14.
I am a little surprised to see Nautilus in particular. It doesn't feel like the clear Sivir pairing. The option that a lot of people go for is some sort of enchanter to help her in the early lane phase, as well as being able to kind of buff you up in the late game. But Nautilus doesn't really help with a lot of lane phases. He has some strong ones that can be paired with like Kai'Sa back in the day, but right now it doesn't feel like a strong winning lane as opposed to Lulu Zeri should have priority. It feels like in that lane, and it's going to be for Chime a lot more about, like you're saying, these team fights around dragons and whatnot, and maybe getting out of lane and affecting things with roams.
Because that tankiness and that durability that works later on within the game, not very present for Nautilus in the early stages when you can actually poke him down very effectively. So something for TSM to be looking out for. With the bans concluded, there was still a prioritization towards taking away another one of Spica's favored picks, and now getting the additional lock-ins.
As well as getting rid of some of the other options to play into Ahri. You see TSM gets rid of Lissandra and LeBlanc, and DIG is going to potentially pick blue this Sylas again here.
A lot of Dignitas' success yesterday was blue on the Sylas, properly positioning around objectives and making sure to survive.
I gotta say, also, we get a yeah for Ornn, I guess?
I guess.
Okay. Well,
Ornn, baby. That's the most enthusiastic Ornn exclamation I've heard, I think.
I mean, especially for Solo, he did have a game where they just played around the Ornn. They killed, I think it was Whippo like 4 times. So there you go. Solo is a pretty competent Ornn pilot. And they round out their team comp with a lot of good team fighting.
It feels like whenever Solo comes in for the rescue on a team, there is a large amount of Ornn play, being able to be adaptive with the way he wants to approach the laning phase and serving the team later.
And I think for blue, there's a lot of good ults to steal now. The Ahri getting the extra mobility, the Nautilus for lockdown CC, same with the Ornn, being able to snipe that one away. And blue, where I was going, was someone who, on a team that is struggling.
Oh gosh, sounded like the character in a book that I can't remember now. So.
Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon, here we go!
Hey, let's go for it! Who will get locked down first? Right over to Spica!
You knew it was gonna come in the top side, the trading back and forth. At one point, someone was gonna fall asleep, not realize more people were missing. Playmaker for TSM.
if any plays are made right now as TSM keep their eyes on this Rift Herald. Dignitas on the approach, go in for the knockup. A charm lands onto one, followed up with a root, but Hoon, the subject once again by the wild growth. Blue flashes away. Follow-up knockup onto Hoon, leads to his death once more in the center of it all. XU still remains until TSM has something to say about it. Another flash plus. Oh, the charm immediately after, answered by the stasis of Biofrost, but it's not enough. The note was written, the death is achieved. 3 down for Dignitas.
Play for finish first. I got it. We fight.
Okay. Sojani.
I go Sage first. Go Sage first.
No flash, Sojani.
Yeah. Look at me, okay? Look at me after. Look at me after.
Big. Hook in 5. Yo, follow Lulu.
Yeah.
No tower.
Kill Biofrost.
Hook in 3. I'm going on him. 2.
Oh my god.
Look at Zeri.
Wait, he wasted his stopwatch.
Give me the kill.
Oh my god. Someone go top.
Find that voice and really work on that leadership being so important from the support position as TSM does go in here, gets knocked up by one. The follow-up, no, they lose Spica. An ultimate executed again on XU, but did get the pickup of their first kill.
Little over eager there, as Maple needs to be careful not to face check XU there. Just Spica thinking he can get the red buff and clone out, not giving quite enough respect to the rest of Dignitas, who flash in there. XU gets the stun, they get the kill. Feeling himself a little bit. They were 5,000 gold up, but just a small overstep. Not the end of the world. Shutdown does go over, but still a big lead. It's just about making sure they don't lose anything
Maybe
else.
here. Fight smartly. If they show on the waves, then we fight.
I'm here.
No, I'm gonna say it's good fight. It's good fight. The kill is good. We could, no W. Our set Mo. I mean.
Nice.
Okay, go catch up.
I'll go top.
That is sometimes interpret things different ways. Slap harder than themselves. Like you can say that they're slaps themselves, but you're actually...
See, and I was thinking that maybe somebody will read it a different way, and you just had to put me on the spot to try to justify it, and I had nothing for it.
I had to say it that way.
Right, keeping me honest. But in the end, pretty much exactly where we were before. You just humiliated my work
a minute before Dragon. We're talking about the game now. TSM getting pushed mid and bot, setting up. Wards all in the jungle. Look at this. Distraction. Look at these. All these wards down there.
That is actually super important for what's to come. Or Solo trying to set it up right now. A direct isolation of Biofrost on the side ends up giving his own life for it. XU was also lost previously, so Dignitas losing 2. And TSM, a nice path of retreat for themselves. They don't go down bot, they go directly onto the Baron. There's no jungler around, so they see the opportunity.
Yeah, this is basically free. I mean, Hoon and Spawn and Blue are going to try to contest, because if they don't, the game's basically over. But with no smite, you have to somehow win a 3v5.
All right, let's hear how TSM is taking on this play.
I stun.
Keep going.
Has flashes.
I'm gonna
Let's just base, bros.
I'm out.
Let's just
nothing to
base.
base for.
Dignitas get picked off there. You saw they tried their best. TSM, though, get the Baron, get a clean turn, pick up one more kill onto Hoon. They lured Dignitas into a false sense. Really nicely done here. The Sivir ult coming up big. Dignitas have lost so many turrets in the mid lane. It's so easy to actually get into this jungle of Dignitas and find these angles onto them. You can see with no mid lane inner or outer turrets out, there's not really a safe path to take back to their base. The Sivir speed up makes sure that you can get this CC chain down. So much CC on the side of TSM for the 5 members with some way to set up their own play. They get those kills, and then it's, again, because they have so many abilities to actually turn off the Baron, be able to find that easy kill into Hoon.
And exactly as you were noting, having that mid lane so prioritized to take down the second one here. TSM, Dignitas, all in the vicinity. Once this turret goes down, it gives them an opening. Blue going into stasis nice and early. Hoon, Wild Growth, and Flash away from him. Double knock-up Solo into the backline. Instinct is getting mighty low, though, but they take down the pig herself before he can make an impact. The knockups continue with all that TSM has at their skill availability. This is a 5v3 currently in time. They're going to keep up the pressure. Supers coming into the base because of the time that had passed since they took that inhib. Spawn looking to try and make a play. The burst fire and beyond. XU into the back, gets the heartbreaker. Takes over Orin himself. Spica into stasis. He goes so low on the HP. Falls. 2 of TSM were eradicated, so it's time for them to retreat. But look at that base.
That was such a close opportunity for TSM to end the game there, but fancy footwork by Spawn. The Zeri popping off still, like you said, so much pressure on the side of TSM with the inhibitors down bot and mid. Those are going to be constantly pushing lanes. Dignitas trying to defend this inner turret does give some angles for TSM to wrap around behind them. You can see them have to be very careful.
Right, going for it. Quite the burn down onto Instinct here. As soon as out of stasis, Blue eliminated Instinct with the kill credit. Hoon's been hovering over that wall side to see if he can find a point of entry, but they can't because look at all those minions coming into the base. The opening is here for TSM. Full team in effect. Can they make it happen? But the lockdown on Aspika is too good. You gotta be worried about those resets that they're coming through from Exu. Another route onto him, though, is answered by Mayful, putting TSM onto the forefront. But in the end, they end up losing.
So TSM can grab that one for free, and we'll listen in on this Baron.
Yeah, I want to play for turn here.
Okay, we should really fight.
Let's go around, go around. Yeah, they're solo. Look at me. Just go around. Silver, go now. Silver, go now.
Look at Sedge here.
Yeah, look at me. Oh, he doesn't have jump.
Look at
Keep going. I'm looking. Yeah, I'm
Lulu
going.
got knocked up. Lulu got knocked up. Yo, Kair's
Oh,
there.
no flash. Look at me.
Viego. This guy's creepy.
I'm going.
Wait, Lulu,
I want to kill Bifrost. Can we kill
Where the
Bifrost?
fuck did he go? Alright, go Nash.
Can we end, bros?
Okay.
What the fuck?
I think we need it.
We all knew it was a potential with the live comms.
Yep. I also love the, I want to kill Biofrost. Can I kill Biofrost?
Sounded a little personal or something.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure. Maybe there was some secret smack talk behind the stage. I gotta say, sick hook by Chime, grabbing Hoon out of his queue over the wall, making sure they find that first kill, remove the front line of Dignitas so that they can try and snowball through the game.
TSM are ready for it this time. 3 members here. A charm onto Blue. A stopwatch hit. A hook onto 1. Taking down the biggest threat on Dignitas. TSM should feel the vibration of the fans starting to rejoice, trying to see if they can make these pushes in the final moments of the regular season. Get as many kills as you can, TSM. Set yourself up and sink that one down.
You heard the TSM chants right at the end as they grab sole possession of 7th place, moving up to 5 and 10. Looking good for a late season playoff push.